It's Week 4 action in the MAC Red as your Eisenhower Eagles would travel to Clinton Township to take on the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. The Eagles would open the scoring quickly as Usaid Buhaidar takes the end around off the misdirection, giving the Eagles a 7-0 lead. But the Big Reds, however, would come stumbling out of the gate as the Eagles' Alex Schmidt recovers the fumble on their opening drive. And the Eagles would look to capitalize on the turnover, and they would make them pay as Morris takes the pitch and breaks the plane of the end zone, giving the Eagles a 14-0 lead. But the Big Reds would start to fight back as Tommy Schuster steps back to pass and finds Johnays Owens in the back of the end zone for a Big Reds touchdown, cutting the Eagles' lead to 7. Max Whitworth says, "Whatever you can do, I can do better," as he finds Buhaidar wide open deep downfield, and no one is catching him as he puts the Eagles up 21-7. Now late in the second quarter, the Eagles would start to pile it on as Whitworth finds Morris on the short pass, and Morris takes it to the house, giving the Eagles a 28-7 lead heading into the halftime break. And now in the third quarter, the Big Reds would start chipping away at the lead as Javon Gibson bulldozes his way in for 6, cutting the Eagles' lead to 14. On their next drive, the Eagles would pull a rabbit out of the hat as Ben Metz gets the pitch from Morris on the end around, and he finds Buhaidar wide open, and he's in for another touchdown, making the score 35-14. But Chippewa wouldn't go quietly into the night as Schuster steps up in the pocket and launches one to the back of the end zone and connects with David Ellis for the Big Reds touchdown, cutting the Eagles' lead back to 14. But the Eagles would continue to answer the bell as Caleb Oyster breaks off this carry for 30 yards and a touchdown as the Eagles double up the Big Reds 42-21. But those pesky Big Reds wouldn't go down without a fight as Andre Chenault fights his way into the end zone, cutting the Eagles' lead back to 14. But the Eagles would give the ball right back as Brian Sheweck picks Oyster's pocket, and he's off to the races as he takes it all the way home for 6, cutting the Eagles' lead back to 7 late in the fourth quarter. But Caleb Oyster would continue his best Jack Preventure impersonation as he looks like he's playing Madden on his way to this touchdown as the Eagles go back up by 14. Tommy Schuster would try to keep the Big Reds in it with under a minute to play as he takes in the QB sneak, cutting the Eagles' lead back to 7. And now needing to just run out the clock, disaster strikes as Caleb Oyster coughs up the ball, and it is recovered by Chippewa with under a minute to play. The Big Reds would get 2 last heaves to tie the game from just inside Eagles territory, but both passes would be broken up in the end zone as the Eagles hold on to a 49-42 victory. Next up, Romeo.